Now when I picked this up at the hardware store, I thought I better, on the safe side, pick up some extra bulbs. And I got a little 3-pack, and they're 3 long little tubes actually, and these are 500 watt. It says they last twice as long, average life 4,000 hours. Well, I haven't had this for 4,000 hours, but if you're not careful with your light, if you bang it or hit it, or if you get dust on the glass and you move it around, chances are you could burn the tube out quicker. And that's what's happened here. So I've already thought ahead of time that I might have that problem. So I got some extra bulbs, and I've got to get this replaced. Just going to undo this screw, and it's got a thumb turn on the back side, so I can undo that quickly too. I'm just going to have to be careful with it and remember how I'm going to put it back together. Okay. Got to keep undoing the screw here. It's got this cage, but you don't necessarily have to take this off, but sometimes I take that off so it doesn't show these lines on my videos, but that just kind of protects this front. You know, there's glass over that, so that keeps your hands away from that, because when that's on, that gets really super hot, so be careful with that. This should pop down, and it's giving me a little bit of a problem here. I don't know why it's so hard to come off, but it shouldn't be. Man, what's the deal here? Hasn't been open for a while, so I guess I better not force it. I'll get a little screwdriver and prop that open. This hasn't been opened, and there's a gasket around there that kind of got stuck to the glass. You know, so just be careful with that, because you don't want to just start jerking things apart and breaking the glass before you go. Now you're going to have to go buy another one of those. So easy as you go. I'm going to prop this down here. See, there was a little rubber gasket around here, and that got stuck. So I'm going to have to make sure to put that back in its little groove, you know, before I put this back together. That. Since I got this open, might as well kind of clean it out. I mean, it's all right. I can wipe off the inside of this glass, get it all nicely clean, get ready for the new bulb. I want to get you in there a little closer. Now here's the bulb. And I know it's been burned out because it's all kind of frosted over. When they're brand new, they're clear. And it's like, how do you get that out of there? You know, well, on the end, they're spring-loaded ends. And I'm not sure if it's spring-loaded on both ends or just one end. And you have to kind of grab it and push it over one way and swivel it out. So it's going to have to take my time on this and see if I can do it. Oh, here it comes. Okay, you just got to be careful. I probably should have gloves on in case this breaks, you know, but it's new enough so I don't have to, and then it's just spring-loaded on there. Okay, kind of take a look at that and see how it goes back. You know, kind of take it out and put it in a couple times so that you can see how you're going to put your next one in there. You know, if yours is kind of old, be really careful because this bulb could break. You don't want that getting in your fingers or anything like that. Put some gloves on or something. You might even have to spray some WD-40 on the ends if you have an older light construction light, you know. This one's, like I say, this one's pretty new, so I'm surprised that it's already burned out. Okay, I think the new one's gonna go in all right. Okay, now I'm gonna put that back in, and I can see exactly how to do that. I gotta be careful, I gotta hold on to it firmly. And I push in one side there, and it spring loads over to that side, and there it is. Now, just like I say, when you pull the old bulb out, take a look at that and see if those ends, maybe the spring is sticking, or maybe it's rusty or something like that. You could spray some WD-40 on it and push it back and forth. Use the old bulb when you're doing that to check it a few times before you get that new bulb in there, because once you grab that new bulb and put it in, you want it to go in the first time. You don't want to grab it and really crank down on it and break it in your fingers, or you know, between the cloth or anything like that. Okay, now we can just put it back together. Make sure you have this slit all the way back up so you can put that screw in properly. And this screw will tighten all by itself. You don't need to, well, I mean, with the screwdriver, you can tighten that up. You don't need that little end on there from before that I was showing you. That's the handle, but at first you can just tighten it up this way. And there's a little rubber washer that fits in between there. That's brand new. Sometimes on older ones it's gonna come off. Now see, that's tight, and you can just do it. You can just carry it around like that, but you know, it doesn't have the end on it. So this screws on tight. Then you could put this little tab back on there like that. It's got a little wing nut on here. So that wing nut doesn't necessarily do anything except just hold that on there. You know? But if you don't have a construction light like this, you got to get one. These work for all kinds of stuff. Now this is a 500 watt. And the funny thing is, they have one almost exactly like this. That's a 300 watt. And usually the 300 watt, for some reason, always seem to be just a hair more expensive than this one. Now, the 300 watters sometimes are a little bit heavier duty. Now maybe that's why. And they sell so many more of these, and so they can sell these for about $10 or so. And you can adjust that. You can tighten up these little side pieces, so when you adjust that, it just stops wherever, you know. I like this. I haven't got a second one of these, just in case I need a second one, or if this one breaks, I'm always good to go for my construction projects. I think I'm going to clean the front of this off too. Just push that out of the way. Wipe off this front. But the good thing is, if you're around a lot of dust, sheetrock dust and construction dust and that kind of stuff, your light bulb shouldn't really burn out because of the dust hitting it, because this has the seal around it and all that, you know. But usually when everything gets hot and when it cools down, I like to kind of keep that clean. And as for bulbs, this is a 500 watt halogen bulb. Here's the old one. And so I made sure to get 500 watt replacement bulbs. Now, could I have used 300 watt replacement bulbs? I could have, because this is a 500 watt, so I wouldn't have a problem with that. But the 300 watt are just about as expensive as these 500s. You know, maybe you're saving $2 or $3. You get them in a 3-pack, because then it's cheaper, and then you always got some extra. You know, at least I got one extra for next time this burns out. Here's another thing to consider. If you have a 300 watt halogen construction light like this one's a 500. If you have a 300, I would not recommend you getting 500 watt halogen tubes like this to replace when yours burn out, you know? Stick with the 300 on that. All right? Very important. That's all I got, but I'll be back with more videos.